Huge wildfires near LA. Firefighters with hoses guarded houses as helicopters unleashed loads of water on hot spots of more than 15 square mile blazes, trying the hillsides above the San Fernando Valley communities of Porter Ranch and Granada Hills. Flames have pushed west to the rolling grasslands of Ventura County and made runs toward Simi Valley neighborhoods of modern homes defended by a broad firebreak, helicopters, and ground crews. The fire is one of 3 major blazes that have burned more than 27 square miles of Southern California, destroyed dozens and dozens of homes, and threatening many hundreds or thousands more, and has forced thousands and thousands of people to evacuate their homes this week. There was major progress against one of the Los Angeles' other big wildfire, a 7.5 square mile blaze in the northeastern San Fernando Valley was 70% contained, and some evacuees were allowed to go home. But people who lived in an area where 38 mobile homes were destroyed were not permitted to return yet. "It's a nightmare," said one resident. "It feels like it's not real," the nursing assistant said. "It's just a real nightmare." And some firefighters said it's the worst they've ever seen. Many still don't know when they're going to return home. "Our hearts and prayers are out with all of them," said one mayor. On the north coast of San Diego County, a 3,000-acre fire at the Marine Corps Camp Pendleton was 25% contained. Evacuation orders were largely lifted for approximately 2,000 Marine Corps personnel and family members in military housing and residents of approximately 1,500 homes and neighboring Oceanside. A separate small fire closed Interstate 5 through the base for 2 hours Tuesday before it was controlled. A state of emergency declared. California governor declared a state of emergency in Los Angeles and Ventura counties and urged residents to be prepared for anything. Winds are causing fire conditions to change by the hour, which is why it is so important that residents in the areas surrounding these wildfires heed the warnings from public safety officials to evacuate immediately. The governor said Tuesday the state has $1.5 billion in reserve to battle additional fires. The outbreak of these severe fires followed the weekend arrival of the first significant Santa Ana winds of the fall. And some of these winds are hurricane force, 65, 85, 100 miles per hour winds or gusts. Yes, hurricane force winds are driving some of these fires. And, like I said, many people say this is the worst they've ever seen it. And it's tender dry, bone dry in California. In many areas in Southern California, it's just bone dry. And this has to do with global warming. Global warming makes wildfires more likely and more destructive, as many scientific studies have concluded. Global warming leads to more intense droughts, hotter weather, earlier snowmelt, hence less humid late summers and early autumns, and more tree diseases and infestations like the pine beetle. That means wildfires are a dangerous, amplifying feedback whereby global warming causes more and more intense wildfires, ever bigger, which release carbon dioxide, thereby accelerating global warming, ever faster. The climate wildfire link should be a special concern in the United States, where, since 2000, wildfires have burned an area larger than the state of Idaho. We're showing warming and earlier springs tying in with large wildfires or forest fire frequencies. Lots of people think climate change and the ecological responses are 50 to 100 years away. But it's not 50 to 100 years away. It's happening right now in forest ecosystems and through fire. First, Southern California is experiencing the driest year in 130 years of record keeping. Or actually, nobody's ever known in history, in recorded history, of it being this dry. This is precisely the kind of extreme weather event we expect from climate change, global warming. We are seeing record droughts around the country and around the world. Some scientists fear we are at risk of shifting the climate to a permanent drought before 2050 throughout the Southwest. That doesn't sound too good, no. Second, we aren't just seeing bad wildfires or average. We are seeing record-shattering wildfires. The 2005 wildfire season, which ravaged 8.7 million acres, was record-breaking, and the record it broke was from 2000, when wildfires consumed 8.4 million acres. The 2006 wildfire season easily surpassed 2005, with a stunning 9.9 million acres burned. And the 2007 wildfire season was also very, very large. And, well, the 2008 could be the largest one of all. It seems to be just the beginning. We're just starting. Warming and earlier spring increase western U.S. forest wildlife activity. Yes, this is happening rapidly. No, it's not a long time off. Climate change, global warming, and actually it could be more than that. It could be a polar magnetic reversal. Anyway, there are a lot of things going on here. Yes, climate wildfires are a classic amplifying feedback, since burning forests release carbon dioxide that accelerates global warming. Virtually all climate model projections indicate that warmer springs and summers will occur over the region in coming decades. These trends will reinforce the tendency toward early spring snowmelt and longer fire seasons. This will speed up global warming or climate change. If the average length and intensity of summer drought increases in the northern Rockies and mountains elsewhere in the western United States, an increased frequency of huge wildfires, catastrophic wildfires, will lead to changes in forest composition and reduced tree densities, thus affecting carbon pools. Current estimates indicate that western U.S. forests are responsible for 20 to 40% of total U.S. carbon sequestration. If wildfire trends continue, at least initially, this biomass burning will result in carbon release, suggesting that the forests of the western United States may become a source of increased atmospheric carbon dioxide rather than a sink, even under a relatively modest temperature increase scenario. And a recent study has shown that warmer, longer growing seasons lead to reduced CO2 uptake in high elevation forests, particularly during droughts. All this speeds up global warming or climate change. Yes, this is a very serious thing. These wildfires are getting more severe every year and longer. And bigger fires also, more intense wildfires. All these are more signs of the end times transition days, and there are signs all around us, increasingly, and there are many, many signs.